Kendrick Lamar has been intimidating fellow rappers not just because of his recent moves, but even back when he wasn't as battle-tested as he is today. Right now, hip-hop is thriving in the aftermath of his brutal takedown of Drake. So severe that Kendrick's name has practically become an acronym used to caution others.
Don't rap against Kendrick ever.
Yeah.
You didn't sit home with the fucking BlackBerry or the bum composition book and write acronyms for your own fucking name.
While Drake's loss to KDot shows exactly why so few have dared to challenge Kendrick over the years, what truly makes his reputation so intimidating? There are several reasons why the world knows Kendrick isn't someone to mess with. This is exactly why rappers fear Kendrick Lamar. His legacy has layers. One major factor is the deep respect the culture has for him, a respect that runs all the way to the industry's top. With cosigns from Dr. Dre and the torch passed to him by West Coast legends like Snoop Dogg, The Game, Corrupt, and countless other OGs, Kendrick's place as an untouchable MC is solidified.
I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna mean this. Nigga, you got the torch, nigga, you better run.
Even the legendary Eminem once admitted that his pen game might not be able to measure up to that level.
The thing with M was crazy to me. He kicks everybody out the studio. I took it as him kicking everybody out to see if that's really you writing them raps that you're writing.
Given that Eminem is known to be critical of rappers who rely on ghostwriters, that assumption made sense. But, as Ed Sheeran recalled, he quickly realized why KDot earned so much respect from the very people Eminem admired.
Eminem, he'd heard that Kendrick Lamar was the best rapper, and he invited him to the studio to get him on a song, and he arrived and Kendrick came with all his mates. And Eminem said, I just want you in the studio, just you on your own. And then my engineer's going to come in and then record you doing it, but your mates aren't allowed in. And then Kendrick did it, wrote a sick verse, and then everyone came in to listen to it. And Eminem said he did it to test Kendrick because he thought he had a ghostwriter, and he then realized that he didn't, and then claimed that he was the best.
Ever since they teamed up on Love Game from the Marshall Mathers LP2, Eminem has recognized that Kendrick is among the elite in the game. And in a rare moment of vulnerability, Shady even admitted he'd think twice before going at him.
It's the same thing if I getting on a track with Kendrick. I can never tell what the fuck he's gonna do.
Right.
Because he is such a chameleon of styles and he can fucking do pretty much anything, right? And he's so proficient at it, he's so good at it, and you don't know what you're gonna get. That to me is like a top tier lyricist because it's like, you can get your ass kicked any day.
Though Kendrick often overshadowed rappers on features, he never had to face off with other MCs the way Eminem did throughout his career. But he always maintained that he could tear any rapper apart if it came down to it. Even after reaching mainstream success, he never strayed from that mindset. His entire Section 80 era was built around the idea that he could kill your favorite rapper. On Damn's Element, he warned that all it took was saying his name to summon Candyman. And after winning a Pulitzer Prize, he reminded his peers again on Rich Spirit, telling them to stop playing with him, unless they wanted to end up as just another song. Now, after Aubrey's demolition and J. Cole waving the white flag, it's clear that Kendrick's warning wasn't just empty talk. Over the past few weeks, he's left deep marks on their legacies as they try to recover. And it's safe to say, no one's stepping to Dot anytime soon. But even before all that followed Kendrick's declaration that the big three is just big me, rappers were already hesitant to cross him. Whenever egos flared and someone dared to speak against him, they almost always ended up paying homage instead. Even without any real battle experience before Drake challenged him, Kendrick had already proven how powerful his presence and narrative could be. Just ask Big Sean. In many ways, Sean is the reason Kendrick came at Drake in the first place. We all know about KDot's iconic verse on Control, where he hijacked Big Sean's own track to send a message to the entire industry. Even though he had love for them, he was out to destroy them and steal their fans, too. Sean claimed he wasn't bodied on the track, yet still chose to leave it off his Hall of Fame album. And despite his denial, he's never really been able to escape its shadow.
I put that work in. Like, you're not gonna disrespect me. I hop on any track with anybody, and I will not only stand my own, you gonna know that it's my verse, and you gonna know I'm
That's what I like.
in it.
Except for Control.
Kendrick watched you on Control.
No, stop it.
Sean, come on now.
Stop it.
Come on.
And how long ago was that? What year is this?
That were you right? You got you right. Everybody
okay.
You're right.
And I still don't feel like I got washed anyway. Nigga.
Nah, you got watched on Control.
Whatever. Your opinion. See, that's what I'm saying. You can't focus on people's opinions. You know why? Because that's gonna throw you off.
Although Big Sean never fully admitted there was beef, he definitely threw subliminal shots at Dot from time to time. Tracks like Me, Myself, and I and No More Interviews had fans convinced he was targeting Kendrick's rap style. But true to form, Kendrick didn't acknowledge the drama. Until The Heart Part 4, where he made it clear he'd heard the noise, warning that if Sean kept pushing, he'd get what he thought he wanted. My fans waiting for me to sun your punk ass and crush your shit, I'll big pun your punk ass, you a scared little. Even though Big Sean never got a direct diss track, the message was loud and clear. Kendrick could end him at will. Meanwhile, the Control verse left such a lasting mark on Sean's career that you can practically divide it into everything before that moment and everything that followed. And in a move that reflects what usually happens when someone clashes with Kendrick, Big Sean now speaks of him with pure admiration, acting like there was never any issue to begin with.
My fans can't wait for me to sun your punk ass and crush your whole little shit. I'll big pun your punk ass, you a scared little bitch.
Although Big Sean probably got the short end of the stick after Control, there was another rapper on the track, Jay Electronica, who also didn't walk away untouched. Despite being hailed as one of the greatest MCs in the world at the time, Jay didn't escape criticism either. He wasn't too happy about people saying Kendrick outshined him, and even went as far as claiming that Dot was envious of him.
The whole Big Sean Kendrick beef was going on. It was something I wish I would have spoke up about because there was nothing. So then I remember going online and seeing like, oh, is he talking about Kendrick? Because I'm talking about people who rap fast. I wasn't beefing with nobody.
Insisting that he didn't want any problems, Biggin still had to acknowledge that the whole thing has haunted him for years.
And in every verse I do, people be like, oh, is this a response? Is this a response? And I'm like, it's like, damn, I can't even show no aggression. People think it's a damn response. It got to a point where somehow it was just a weird tension between me and him, even though it was already said it wasn't no beef because people made it that way, right?
But later on, Jay Electronica would clarify in an interview with Vibe that he was actually saluting Kendrick for the most part. As for the notoriously fearless Joe Budden, he went as far as hosting a live stream to preview his response track, but ultimately backed out and never released it. Meanwhile, responses from Papoose and others trickled in, but Kendrick remained so calm and unbothered throughout the entire situation that it was almost impossible for it not to strike fear into their hearts.
Kendrick will body you. Look, you couldn't pay Kendrick $1 million. Kendrick wouldn't tell you. Kendrick could tell you himself he couldn't body me. Kendrick, look, Kendrick is my son. Kendrick is my baby. Kendrick wish he said he could be me.
Jay Electronica followed up with a verse on The Curse of Mayweather, where he rapped, "He got 11 Grammy nominations. Why not equal, man? Funds these white people." Clearly referencing the number of Grammy nods Kendrick had racked up at the time. He doubled down with, "My grandmother died at 82, scrubbing floors, and rappers still running around begging for awards," sounding like he was practically inviting a feud. But out of nowhere, Jay had a sudden change of heart and began praising Kendrick, saying, "Lastly, peace to K and TDE, because regardless to whom or what, we're brothers, fighting the same energy. Forgive my past energy." It's still unclear what led to the switch, but like many others, Jay ended up folding when it came to Dot. His shift reflects a broader pattern. Hip-hop's reaction to Kendrick's Control verse didn't just foreshadow the Drake beef, it also set the tone for how carefully other rappers would move around him. While Control sparked a wave of responses, most seemed to tiptoe around any real conflict. For instance, after being upset that Slaughterhouse wasn't mentioned in the shoutouts, Joel Ortiz fired back with a scathing track called Out of Control, where he went directly at Kendrick. But even that felt like it stayed within a cautious boundary.
And then you the king of New York, little homie, you ain't the king of New York, you the next thing on my fork.
So when they all backed down, it sent a clear message to the culture that Lamar wasn't someone to play with. He demanded respect. There's always a caveat when it comes to slandering KDot. Instead of direct attacks, most rappers tread lightly. Just look at what happened to French Montana when he tried to take shots at Kendrick. Over the years, French made a few comments, first suggesting that Kendrick was only being elevated because the industry was backing him.
How you feeling about all the comebacks lately from your Control verse? You gotta try harder.
So when they all backed down, it really made the whole culture realize that Lamar was to be treated with respect. Basically, there's always a caveat when it comes to KDot slander, rather than anyone really coming for his neck. I mean, just look at what happened to French Montana when he attempted to diss him. Over the years, French has had a few things to say about Kendrick. First off, he claimed that he was being pushed by the industry.
Why you think Kendrick sells more than like street rappers?
Cause they position him like how they did in the Grammys as the new music. But I don't feel like that's, you know, it's not that it's not the right thing to do, but I just feel like you see it's like the whole thing was like Kendrick night.
Then, even more ridiculously, French claimed he had more hits than Kendrick, only to get clowned relentlessly by the internet. He said, "If we just talking about anthems, me versus Kendrick hit for hit, I believe I can go neck and neck. I've been making hits for a long time. I love Kendrick, but that's not just for him. That's for anybody they put in front of me." But not everyone was buying it. In fact, even fellow rappers joined in to mock him, turning the whole claim into a running joke.
Stupid ass nigga say he got more hits than Kendrick Lamar. Fool. The man say he got more hits than me and Kendrick. Bro, your junk ass ain't got more hits than no motherfucking Kendrick, and you ain't damn sure ain't got more hits or anthems than me. You smoke hard, why you tripping? You on real dope.
While French Montana had no problem going back and forth with Young Thug, and even got into a full-blown war of words with him, he never took things any further with KDot. In fact, like so many others, French eventually backtracked and basically apologized for ever thinking he could go toe-to-toe with Kendrick, admitting he was just in his feelings at the time.
I was just heated I ain't win a Grammy for Unforgettable.
That's what it was?
Yeah, but Kendrick is my dog. But just that one day at the interview, I was just so heated that I ain't win, and he was the winner. And I was just like, yeah, but I fuck with Kendrick. I fuck with the whole team.
Opting to admit that he was in the wrong instead of placing any blame on Kendrick was a rare display of humility from a rapper like French. And while J. Cole has been catching most of the heat for standing on that Dreamville Festival stage and saying that his 7-minute drill diss toward Kendrick didn't sit right with his spirit and would be taken down from streaming platforms, the truth is, he's far from the only one who's had second thoughts about crossing KDot.
When I listen to it and when it comes out and I see the talk, that shit don't sit right with my spirit. That shit make me feel, that shit disrupts my fucking peace.
History shows that he's not the first person to make his apologies to Kendrick, and maybe fear of being dismantled on a verse wasn't the only reason, although his immense talents on the mic are one major factor. French extending his love to Kendrick's whole team is important, because as these rappers likely learned before going at his neck, messing with Kendrick requires you to go up against an army. And while Kendrick might have been a good kid in a mad city, he's got a whole city behind him. And there's something dangerous about Kendrick that not a lot of people speak about. Growing up in Compton, Kendrick was exposed to the gang lifestyle early on, and many of his best friends were active members. Then, after joining TDE, he suddenly found himself in the midst of the Bounty Hunter Bloods and Hoover Crips, as he teamed up with fellow label mates Schoolboy Q and J-Rock, as well as a whole host of other people who were repping sets. Recently, Kendrick's gang ties have come under the microscope again, because if the rumors are true, Cole might have received a tip to back off from the beef. That sounds not too dissimilar to what you'd see on the streets. From Schoolboy Q, reporting from Dreamville Festival, an unnamed source revealed that it was actually Schoolboy Q who allegedly warned J. Cole to stop beefing with Kendrick before the apology. I'm not specifying what kind of warning, whether it was a bullying move, a deal-like maneuver, or just a friendly heads-up. I don't think it matters at this point, but based on what Punch, TDE's president, said, I think they gave him what he needed to hear to bow out of the battle, with as much grace as possible. Whether he was letting him know what kind of heat KDot had in store for Drake with the abuse allegations, or telling him to ease up before things got dangerous, this whole situation proves that whatever Kendrick is getting involved, in the streets he grew up on, have his back. In terms of gangs, Kendrick has long been rumored to have connections to the West Side PY Car, in addition to his affiliation to the Red Side of the city. Kendrick also has uncles who are Crips, several of which have served a lengthy jail terms for gang-related activity in armed robbery, and he's still locked in with them to this very day.
Does the crew come out every time you come to Compton?
Yeah. Because of Kendrick's known connections and resurfaced photos of him wearing red, Drake's recent claim on Family Matters that Kendrick isn't affiliated with any set has been openly mocked by people from Compton. At the same time, though, many still respect Kendrick's decision to keep that part of his background low-key and not let it define his public identity.
Drake says you don't bang a set, and he says the game bangs a set, even Chris Brown bangs a set.
He just don't know Kendrick.
That's what I'm saying. Has Kendrick renounced his hood affiliation at a certain point?
Kendrick just don't be private and so priding himself off of his gang culture. So I guess people think that he a non-affiliate. I don't know if we posted, but you know, hey.
But obviously, the fact is Kendrick severely downplays gang affiliations.
The push-ups was in his hood, wasn't they? The push-ups that you talk about, they at the park.
Due to Kendrick's known ties and old photos of him wearing red, Drake's claim on Family Matters that he isn't affiliated with a set has been mocked by people from Compton, though many still respect Kendrick's choice to keep that part of his life from defining his public image.
The city got my back. Before that, I give them my torso. You think about it.
Due to Kendrick's known ties and old photos of him wearing red, Drake's claim on Family Matters that he isn't affiliated with a set has been mocked by people from Compton, though many still respect Kendrick's choice to keep that part of his life from defining his public image. But really, that line could be taken as a reflection of the whole state of California, and it might even hint at Kendrick's gang ties. In an old interview, Snoop Dogg actually broke this down in more detail, shedding light on the deeper meaning behind Kendrick's words.
It's just that he's a nice guy, so they have a problem with it because he doesn't have a gangster approach. But let me let y'all know, he got 100,000 motherfucking gangsters with him. So y'all better watch what y'all say. You understand what I'm saying? Keep it hip-hop, because that's what he did. He kept it all hip-hop.
Despite the fact that Kendrick has never outright claimed to be a gang member, there have been moments in his life where he moved like one. Back in the day, he reportedly tried to intimidate AD from the No Jumper podcast and Back on Fig, simply because Kendrick believed he was from a rival neighborhood.
Hey, you wanna know a crazy thing about Kendrick, bro? My first encounter with him, he thought I was somebody else, bro. He low-key tried to press me.
Who?
Kendrick Lamar.
Who do you think you were? Gorilla
He
Black?
from a different hood. I guess some niggas jumped him back in the day, and I came to the studio, and he was mad. He was like, "Hey, you from Almond Block?" And I was like, "Nah," but he was hot.
You banged on him back?
Where's Almond Block?
No, Almond Block is another hood in Compton. And I was like, "Nah, I ain't from Almond Block."
He thought you were lying.
And he was like, "You is from Almond Block?" I'm like, "Nah, I ain't from Almond Block. I'm over here." He was like, "All right," and then we was cool after that.
But
he was mad though.
All right.
No, he was mad. Yeah, he was mad. Like if I was from Almond Block, he would have got his get back on me that day.
From the gang members who frequently appear in his music videos to industry figures like Mustard siding with him, it's clear that people are willing to drop other alliances to ride for their Compton comrade. Kendrick's status as the king of the West Coast, and all that comes with it, would make anyone think twice before coming at him. While there's always been speculation that Kendrick isn't someone to play with, this battle with Drake has made that fact undeniable. Even though outlets like MAAD Radio or commentators like DJ Academics might argue otherwise, no one can deny that Kendrick absolutely washed Drake. Beyond just the music, the fact that he broke Drake's own record for the most streamed rap song in a day, on a track where he calls him a sex offender, is just cold-blooded. Fans are now realizing Kendrick is not to be tested. Personally, I knew Kendrick Lamar was someone best left alone when that video surfaced of him doing burpees in a parking lot while blasting oldies. There's something unhinged about that. Just look at this man, he's a straight-up psychopath. Aside from his sheer willingness to take a rapper out, what's happening to Drizzy right now shows exactly why Kendrick was never challenged before. People have taken shots at Drake for years, but if those jabs don't connect with the general public, they don't matter. Kendrick, on the other hand, is a rare threat. He's not only insanely skilled, but also has the platform to drag you in front of a massive audience. That's where the real fear comes in: public humiliation.
He's a better rapper than almost anyone in the game, capable of switching between mainstream and underground styles with ease, while most artists stick to one lane. And because he can destroy your image and turn it into a timeless hit, the risk is too high. If you need proof that this impact is real, just look at that school teacher's comments about how the public's tone around Drake shifted after Not Like Us dropped. It's cultural and it's permanent.
I, up until today, taught at a very Drake-centric high school. Rich Baby Daddy is the most frequently requested song to put on my class playlist. If I ask students what they're listening to in their headphones, Drake. The week after the leak was a nightmare. But today I walk in and I can feel that there has been a tectonic shift. Oh my God. This is a Kendrick school now. I polled my classes on what they thought and they were ready to throw down for Kendrick. I had like one Drake defender in each class, if that. And honestly, I feel bad for those kids because they were getting screamed at.
As people step aside, Kendrick has even managed to hit Drake where it hurts, his pockets. According to Billboard, from May 3rd to May 6th, Kendrick's discography pulled in around 50 million streams, a 49% jump from the previous Friday to Monday tracking period. Meanwhile, Drake's overall catalog actually dropped when you compare that same weekend to the one before, excluding his 2 available diss tracks, Push-Ups, and Family Matters. And while Kendrick may not surpass Drake's total streaming numbers overall, one thing is crystal clear: his versatility is a weapon. Just like Eminem once pointed out, that's exactly why going at Kendrick is never a smart move.
If you go through all these records, from Like That to Euphoria to 616 in LA to Meet the Grams to Not Like Us, none of those records sound the same at all. It's the widest range I've ever seen in the amount of time in any diss battle ever. When it comes to the rapping and the music, fuck all like the timeline or what's true and what's not true, who's rapping and who is putting out the better records. Kendrick Lamar checked every fucking box sonically that you could think of.
From his razor-sharp pen game to his rumored gang affiliations, there are plenty of reasons why Kendrick inspires fear. But the biggest one of all is how seriously he takes his craft.
I'm so passionate about hip-hop, man. Like, I don't know what era everybody else come from, but I listened, man. Like, we played house parties, bro, every night. I love it to a point I can't even describe it. And when I heard these artists say they're the best coming up, I said, I'm not doing it to have a good song or one good rap or a good hook or a good bridge. I want to keep doing it every time, period. And to do it every time, you have to challenge yourself and you have to confirm to yourself that you're the best, period.
This explains the responsibility he feels to uphold standards, as well as why Drake taking the culture without giving back bothers him so much.
This is not something you just play with, you know, get some few dollars and get out, you know. People live their lives to this music. It's my partners in the hood right now. They listen to rap every day because it's the only thing that can relate to their stories and their tribulations. You have to take in consideration what you write down on that paper. And if you're not doing it to say the most impactful, but doing it to be the best you can be for the listener, what are we doing here?
Always determined to keep his sword sharp, Kendrick would never allow himself to take a loss. With that kind of mindset, in a genre where many rappers lose their hunger over time, K has remained just as driven as he was when Overly Dedicated dropped. He never bothers anyone unless provoked. And to truly understand why Kendrick is one of the most feared rappers of any era, we can borrow a phrase from ancient Rome. If you want peace, prepare for war. Whether people realize it or not, Kendrick stays ready. And after dismantling Drake, he's likely secured himself years of well-earned peace. Unless someone foolishly decides to test him again.